Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. Supportive Oracle Cards, Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Good, good, good. Fun, fun, fun. Taurus. What do we got for Taurus? Okay. Let's see what comes out of this. I got some more cards to put down, but like, it looks good, but then I'm questioning like, where is this going? All right, something is up. We got to find out what. Starting off, you're enjoying this whole situation. You're enjoying that. Whatever this is, you're having a good time. You get the Door to Romance and the Death card coming in. This is like a whole new situation. When the Death card comes in, it's depending on what's going on around it. But with the Door to Romance, you're beginning something that looks good to start with, and you're happy with it. You're really happy with it. It looks really good. You're feeling comfortable with it. The way it's happening, you're like, that makes sense to me. Even if things aren't going the way you'd personally like them to go, it makes sense why it's happening the way it's going. Like, whoever or whatever you're dealing with, it may be like, I don't really like this. It's not completely comfortable to me, but the way this is set up, that makes sense why that's happening. So it's kind of like, you're happy with it because it's like, what I'm dealing with, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you got a bunch of dogs in the yard, they're digging holes. You don't want them digging holes, but dogs dig holes. You're like, all right, I can deal with that. And I can move this around, and we can deal with that. We can move them into a different part of the yard so they don't get into these things. Okay, I can deal with this. It'll be a phase. They'll grow out of it. Okay. It's kind of like, I'm not really liking that part of it, but this makes sense, and I love the dog. That's actually a great analogy for you guys. It's kind of like, I love the dog. I don't like that behavior, but we can work on that. We can deal with that. We can change them from doing that. We can curb that behavior. We can find a way to curb that behavior. Cool. Kind of like, it makes sense. And all that other stuff. The door to value is what, whoever's looking at you, whatever you're dealing with, the door to value with kind of like they understand, whoever this is understands that you're a good connection. You can make the situation a lot more stable, but at the same time, they're like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. They're looking at you in more of like, oh, is the Taurus going to be too restrictive? Can I really do this? Is the Taurus really a good match for what I want to do? I don't know. But they're also looking at, I don't know if I can do it their way and survive that, but look how well they do. Look how good the Taurus does. Look how sound that is. Whatever you're doing, it's kind of like, I don't know if I can conform to what the Taurus wants, but I can see why it would be worth it. They can easily see why it would be worth it. And they're playing nice with you. The way things work out between you and them, the Sun card and the Ten of Cups, they're not sure they can really uphold to these standards. You know what you like. You're not really very covert about what you like. You're right out there with it. This is how I do things. This is how I like them to go. I like them in the right spot at the right time. I almost feel like I'm looking at somebody who's like, I get up at 6, I do this, that, and that. I go to work, I do this for lunch, I come home, I do this, that, that. And by, 9 o'clock, I'm in bed. By 10 o'clock, I'm asleep. That's how it goes. And you're like, I stay this way because I get enough rest, things work out, I get things done, I stay on schedule, things work out. And that's how it is. And they're like, makes perfect sense. That's why your life works out so well. You hold yourself to a standard, you do this at this time, you do that at that time, and you even admit, like, sometimes, I'd like to stay up and do this or other that, or I'd like to sleep in and do that and that, or I'd like to just not do this. But I don't let myself do that, because once I start doing those things, everything goes off balance. One thing starts going a little wonky, everything goes wonky. I stay up too late, I'm tired the next morning, I have a hard time getting up, things don't get done as well as they should, blah, blah, blah. I sleep in too late, I have to squish in time. I'm rushed to get to work. It throws off my whole day. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't work. So they're very cooperative. Like, no, you have a very sound way of doing things. You make sense. I want to have that level of success. I'm going to try to do this. And they do. Adjacent possibilities with the Page of Wands. Okay, whoever you're dealing with, you seem to be right on point with this. Like, you know, the way you live life, the way you handle life, that's for you. But you're kind of like, with this person, you're kind of like, well, these are the parameters I think are the most important. Getting enough sleep. So I would say force yourself to go to bed at 6, get in bed at 9, that way you'll be asleep by 10. And you're kind of like, this is really important. I would also recommend, you know, for example, eating these types of foods throughout the day and regulating how much of this other type of stuff you let in your diet. So it's kind of like, you're looking at this kind of like, this is just a piece of what you do. Maybe part of this is diet. You're like, certain things I only let myself eat at this time of day. Other things I just don't let in my diet at all. I only eat this amount of this. I only eat that amount of that. And I only eat in these certain times. Before work, lunch, and at dinner. And I don't do snacks. Maybe that's your thing, just for argument's sake. Like, these are the rules. I stick with those rules. If you stick with these to start with, you should see a really good change, and maybe other things can be garnered if you can do those well. And you're like, this is what I would start with if I was you, to try to get things in line and to make more sense. And they're like, okay. So they're kind of like, okay, this is an outline and this could really make a difference. Let me try that. And they're all gung-ho about it. When I'm getting the Page of Wands, you're telling them, do it this way, try it this way. And they're like, this is different than what I'm used to, but it's not completely regimented, but it's enough to where maybe it'll make a difference. Let me see if I can do that. You've got the Queen of Hearts. What is this? Woman holding a heart. And the Six of Pentacles. Again, you're not expecting anybody to hold to the line the way you do. You don't expect them to just snap in line and do things, everything, you know, like the regimen and everything you do, they're not going to do. So it's almost like, all right, maybe they start off with the sleep schedule and they're kind of struggling with that. And they're trying to make the food thing work out, but they're kind of struggling with that. But you're kind of like, hey, you're trying and you'll get better at it. I feel like you're encouraging them, especially with the Queen of Hearts. Woman holding a heart. I keep wanting to call her a queen, though. Don't get caught up in the gender, but you're kind of like, no, you're doing well. Just keep trying. It'll get easier the longer you do it. The more you do that, you train your body to get used to that, the easier it'll get. You force yourself to get up at 6, you'll be tired by the time 9 comes around. Don't worry. And the longer you do this, the more your body's just going to start sending those signals. Oh, time to go to sleep. And you'll get tired and you'll want to go to sleep. Oh, time to get up. And it'll be easier for you to get up at 6 because you had enough sleep. Especially if you're eating well. Your body will have the right sustenance. And maybe at first you're having a hard time breaking away from that donut at breakfast instead of having a more healthy meal. But you know what? Give yourself some time. Try to cut it down a little by little. Don't let, if you can't cut it out in the morning, cut it out in the afternoon at least. Try to just slowly move yourself over to it. You're very encouraging. Very encouraging. And I'm getting the yin-yang with the King of Pentacles. Again, don't get caught up in the gender, but you're helping this stabilize, and you're giving this, like, let's just start with the basics and just see how you do with the basics. The yin-yang is like, it's not perfect, but you're like, if it's going to have a chance, you got to go through the growing pains. If it's going to have a chance, you got to try to make it work. So you're helping somebody like change over to a different way of doing things, a way that easily works for you, but I feel like you're also very honest with yourself. Kind of like, yeah, I've gone down this road before with other people. And some people they just literally can't do it the way you do it. They just can't. They just can't, and that's how it is. There's so many different types of personalities out there. Some people can do part of it. Some people can't. Some people can do all of it. Some people can't. Let's see how it unfolds. You're very realistic with it. I feel like as this keeps going forward, I think they're trying to warn you. This person or energy you're dealing with, I'm noticing it's fire, and I feel like I'm constantly saying this with earth and fire. Earth and fire are very different. Earth works by a plan, typically. Stereotypically, earth works with a plan, and you stick to the plan. Fire does not do that. Fire's like, hey, I noticed you put that plan on paper, and then it's gone. That's fire. It's stereotypical fire. That's fire. So you got caring connections here with the Empress. This isn't gonna last. It's not gonna work really long term. Works for you, definitely. But the thing is, they're also acknowledging like you really want whoever this is. They really need things to go better, and you're like, if you could just stick to these rules, even the basic rules, your life will go better. And I feel like you're seeing that. Like, listen, you don't have to do everything the way I do, but if you just try these basic rules, your life will improve. And I feel like the caring connection from you is like, I just want this person's life to go better for them. That's all you want. Like, you're not like hell-bent like you got to do it my way, you got to do it my way. I don't feel your energy doing that. It's coming from your heart. Like, this can go better for you. Your life doesn't have to be so hard. Just do it more the way I do it. Just the basics alone will help you so much. Your heart goes out to this person is what I'm getting. But I'm also getting door to personal happiness and healing with the Queen of Swords. This is a strong person. When it's just one of those things where, you know, if there's a show on and it starts at 10, they're going to be like, well, I'll just stay up tonight. And next thing you know, 11:30 midnight comes, and then they go to bed. Then they try to force themselves up at 6, and maybe they do, and then they're tired all day. And then they're like, you know what, I just want a frickin' donut. I'm going to have one. And then they blast through a box of them. You know, it's just not going to hold. Because I feel like for them, it's just not what works for them. It's just literally not what works for them. They're going to have to find another way. We all have our own lives. They just going to have to, this just isn't going to work for them. They're going to have to find a different way to make it work out for them. That's all there is to it. There's a couple flags here in the back, and I'm noticing it looks like water, air, and fire to me. And it's interesting because they have the air symbol on a blue flag, which I find very intriguing. And I'm also noticing this little bowl of water down here with some bars in front of it. Queen of Swords is definitely air. Definitely air. But I feel like they're kind of like, I need to find something else that works for me. Something else that I can stick with and feel good with. And I'm feeling overly restricted and this isn't working for me. I just feel like to them it's overly restrictive and they just got to bust out of it. It's like they really try, and I feel like they maybe try too hard, and it overwhelms them. It just overwhelms them, and they hate it. It's not going to work for them. They're just trying to give you the heads up that this is what's going to happen. They have to find a way that works for them. They're not happy doing it this way. It's just feeling more laborsome and more laborsome. I don't think that's a word. More labored. There we go. The longer they do it, just harder and harder, and it just feels very restrictive. They feel so held down, which has nothing to do with you. It's just how their natural energy works. They're going to abandon it. At some point, they're going to abandon it. The storm warning, and they're giving you a highlight here with the word warning. Storm warning. When they've decided they're done, they're done. If you try to come at them and try to convince them to try again, I think you might have a fight on your hands. You have good intentions. They're acknowledging that. But it's almost like when you get the queen energy especially, this person has made up their mind. When they move on from it with the Six of Wands, they're done. They are done. Once they move on, just realize they've made their decision. There's no changing their mind after that. Because I feel like you very much care about this person. And I feel like that's what this reading is for, to help you see that before you get there. So that way you can become more at peace with this. Like, they have to choose their own way. They have to lead themselves forward. You've done all you can. You've explained the best you can. You've given every bit of information you can. You've given them every angle you could think of to make it work for them, to help them with that. And you do have a big heart. You do definitely care. But they're like, at this point, you have to step back and just let them make their own decisions. If they decide to go a different way, you know, you can let them know that you definitely care, and if they change their mind, you're still here. But that's as far as you can go. I respect your decision. You go ahead and do what you have to do. If you change your mind, I'm here. And that's all you have to say. Because I don't think it'll become a problem but if you see it coming, if you can get yourself more comfortable with it, I think you can do that. Take that with a grain of salt, go with it, because I feel like you care very deeply, and you're just like, I just don't want this person's life to be this hard, but they're the executive of their life, you know what I mean? So they're just giving you a heads up. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.